Come on in. I wanted to do another, let's say 360. I used to say let's do a quick one two, but then one of my favorites say quick one two. So had to switch it up. So we're gonna do a 360, go back to talking about Khloe and Tristan. But allow me a moment to check my sound. Allow me a moment to check my sound. And then we're also going to play the disclaimer. So come on in, come on in. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. It's sounding okay on my side. So let's go ahead and do the disclaimer. Let's pull that up. I hope everyone had a great weekend. To all the mothers, loving, caring mothers, I hope all of them had a great time with their children, with the men that appreciates them, the men that are loyal and loving to them. And the reason why we're going to talk about this, I'm back. I was off for a few days, but we're going to talk about motherhood. Because there's a few different situations in regards to Khloe. One, I had did a video and everybody's now talking about it. I did a video, I want to say about 3 weeks ago, when there was a report that Khloe may want to have another child. But if I was the surrogate, in a lot of people's opinion, they were like, She had just had a conversation on with a young lady, and she was basically talking about the surrogacy. But let's get to the disclaimer. Let's get to the disclaimer, then we're going to get to the show. Tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and please share if you care. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about what's on Instagram, what's on Twitter, what's going on in the news around the world. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. And don't forget, the Cash App is Let's Talk About It Media. And have a great day. Stay positive, stay focused. Okay, so we're going to get to this part. And this is coming from Us Weekly. It's basically saying Khloe Kardashian took the kids, True and Tatum, to watch their father, Tristan Thompson, in the NBA semifinals game. So don't forget, last year when he was on the Lakers, it was more so Kim and North going. Kim, North, Saint, even the mom and Corey. But we really didn't see Khloe in the stands. That's her baby father, and the children should be able to see their dad playing in the game. But I told y'all, they treat Khloe funny, and she takes it. Because why wouldn't Khloe be in the stands before Kim? Kim went with North, Kim went with Saint, the mom and Corey went. But why is the baby, being the baby mama, why would you not be in the stands last year? But she's in the stands this year. But let's talk about what Khloe talked about last week. She did an interview. If you're just not coming in, please like the video as you're coming in. She did an interview where she was talking about making Tristan do 2 or 3 DNA tests. Why, girl? You don't know what's going on? And if you realize her face has changed. So when she says that the child does not look like her and Tristan, she has to go back and look at her old pictures. We'll do another video on that one. But yeah, she has to go back and look at her old pictures. So for them to say she attended the game, we get it. Because now they want Khloe to put out her storyline first. It gets the people talking. Any situation regarding Khloe and Tristan, it's a sad situation. It's not an enlightened situation. Kim is supposed to look like the princess, getting all these deals. She's supposed to be able to do XYZ, date around, and people don't really talk, situationship. Kim would never stay with a guy that cheated on her, had a baby on her. That's the storyline that they give Khloe. So Khloe went on an interview and she talked about she made Tristan do a DNA test and she didn't think the child looked like them. And then she had said the child more so looks like Rob. Well, if Rob is your brother, sometimes your sibling looks like your child. Sometimes. But that shaded the surrogate. And it also shaded the facility. So if I did a video 3 or 4 weeks ago of her talking about wanting another child, it's like, why would people want to put them in her care when she said that she wasn't connected to Tatum? Now she's shading Tatum and basically saying he don't look like her and Tristan. Well, a surrogate birthed him, Khloe. And that's the biggest thing. We kind of side eye some of the things they're saying, doing for clicks and views. It's stuff that they're saying. And many people are talking about it. But the biggest thing is, I had just saw that it again, more people are talking about she wants to try and have a third child with him. I'm thinking the K's and the J's is wanting to build a family business and that the children will kind of take over. She's wanting her children to help with her stuff, and the more children the merrier. Because if you got one child that wants to play sports, you got maybe one or two that want to do the business as assisting you or helping you. The mom cracks the whip with them. Khloe is to be in the same storyline with Tristan. Kim is expected to date and talk about her exes. Kylie and Kendall are expected to date and date other people for a storyline click and a view. Kendall ending up with Bad Bunny again, just hanging out, storyline. Kylie going to different events. Timothy's nowhere to be found, but they're saying that Kylie is happy with Timothy, but we don't see them together. We see Timothy more with Zendaya than we do with Kylie. So I don't know if Kylie is still with him or not. But here nor there. I'm not certain what facility, from all the things that Khloe has said, I'm wondering what facility would want to say, oh, sure. Remember when Khloe and Tristan was looking up surrogates and she wanted to be very controlling, and Tristan was like, Khloe, you can't be controlling. You got to be able to give them breathing room. You got to be able to give them space. She's like, I just want to control everything. I just want to control everything. So whether her and Tristan are back together, I think for almost a year she didn't want to say they were close or hanging out. And then remember when she did that interview, was it with, who was it, with Jennifer Hudson or Kelly Clarkson? She was like, I'm learning how to fall out of love with him. You didn't learn how to fall out of love with him when he was trying to push up on Kylie's friend? He invited Jordan to the party and he didn't invite you? You didn't want to fall out of love when he was kissing somebody on a boat? You didn't want to fall out of love when he was holding hands with another woman going into a restaurant or a hotel? You didn't want to fall out of love with him when he had a baby by somebody else and she tries not to talk about it. Girl, what will it take for her to be woken up and say, okay, I get it. Tristan wants to be a single guy. He wants to date around and then just as they're using him, he's using them because he wants them to be his retirement plan. How many women can he go to and they have a show or, a whole complex that a lot of them have bought up the land? And I get it. But the biggest thing is the Khloe people used to love, she was very outspoken back in the day and she did not put up with cheating. But her dating roster was not as long and as extensive as Kim's. So for her to basically show up at the game, I'm not surprised. The children are getting older. But if they have another child, what will y'all think in the comments? Let me know. What will you think if Khloe and Tristan has another child? I mean, she says he's a great dad to True and Tatum. But why isn't he a great dad to Marlee's child? It's just interesting to me that they're talking about having another child. I get her taking to the children to the game. They should have been going to the games. I guess, she told Kim to maybe take a back seat. I don't know. It was just interesting because people were like, why is Kim going to the game and not Khloe? Because back then people wouldn't have cared if Khloe was going. Her children would want to see their dad play. But it was more interesting for Kim and North to go, Kim and Saint to go. What about your own daughter? So I'm telling you, they put Khloe in certain situations side eyeing. Um, Yeah, but it's interesting. And we wish her well. But if she has another child with Tristan, will you be surprised? I was sitting here typing something. Will you guys be surprised? I was just saying for the comments, please like, comment, and subscribe. I mean, we get that their family wants to build business, but the biggest thing is it's kind of interesting how the K's and the J's are wanting to give children a storyline. When Khloe did that interview, she was giving her child a storyline. At a young child, he can't defend himself. He shouldn't have to grow up like she grew up. And this is the one thing that some of me and my friends were talking about. Khloe went through not looking like Kim and Kylie and Courtney. Now she wants to do the same thing to her own child. You don't look like me and the dad. You look like Rob. Did Rob donate to a location? It's like, why is she putting her own traumas onto her child and giving her child a storyline? I just think it's kind of sad. I do. I do. I do. I do. I do. I do. And then Kim's doing the same thing. She put North in a storyline. She's putting Saint in a storyline. She's been recently bringing Chicago in. Now she'll probably do some. I think they put the children in their storylines to kind of, every parent wants to be a parent. But I saw a video and I was always wondering where that secret interest was. Kanye was at the children's school. I won't mention what the school was, but many people have talked about there's a secret entrance and exit. Kanye actually went through that door. So there is one, but Kim decides to utilize the public, or it's not private, so she wants to be seen by the cameras. She wants the child to kind of stick up the finger. But the biggest thing is in regards to Khloe and Tristan. We get that Khloe probably doesn't want to admit that her and Tristan are back together because people will side eye her. But when have you seen that Khloe's dated anybody in the last 5 or 6 years? They jokingly said that she's flirty with people, but Khloe hasn't tied her name to anybody but Tristan. But all along, Tristan's been tied to like to 5 or 6 people for sure. But the biggest thing is when she had that interview, why would she put her traumas on her own child? That's kind of sad to me. I'm sorry. When me and my friends were talking, we were like, we get that she did the interview. She was trying to say the child looks like Rob. She was trying to say the child don't look like her and Tristan. But why? Why not talk about yourself? Why put that on? You're thinking you can then put that same concern on your child of what you went through with your sisters. So somebody didn't talk to her about that prior to. They probably prep for interviews weeks and weeks before. What are you going to talk about? What happens if this subject comes up? Oh, they prep for those interviews for sure. And there's probably questions that she already knew. They're probably handed her questions, or they handed them questions of what they want to talk about, what they want to stay away from. She never talks about Tatum. She never talks about why Tristan doesn't spend time with Tatum. So I wouldn't, as a woman, I wouldn't say a guy is a great dad if he's not spending quality time with all his kids. It's interesting because it's like the K's and the J's want to utilize Tristan for them, but they want to keep him. I mean, come on. Would any of your girlfriends put a guy on a show if he cheated? No. Would any of your girlfriends hang out with an ex that cheated? No. You want to be hanging out like everything's cool and he had a baby on her? And there's no telling. That's why they keep the Marley thing hush, because they don't want Marley to ever speak. I would love for Marley to do like an interview with Tasha K. That would be so interesting. For Marley to do an interview with either Tasha K or Make It Make Sense. Because Tasha K will bring it. She'll ask all the questions. She'll probably be surprised about stuff. And Make It Make Sense will ask the questions, but then be like, well, what do you feel your part was in it? You know, I mean, I'm just certain people I like when they do interviews because it's like, oh yeah, that was a good question. Oh yeah, that was a good question. So sometimes when they go on these interviews, it's not stuff we want to hear. It's just stuff they want to put out. But here nor there. Let me know in the comments how you feel about her taking the kids finally to his games. Didn't take them, not that we've seen last year, but she took them this year. And note in the comments how you feel about, will they have other children? And if they do, how y'all feel about that? Because it would almost make it seem like they're together. Because Khloe's been not, she hasn't been tied to anybody. Let's get to the next subject. Courtney and Travis, they're glowing. They're happy. They're at peace. They're enjoying their children. They're enjoying their life together. And they don't really care what the family thinks. They're just, I mean, as a mom, the mom should be happy for Courtney and she should want the best for her other daughters. But Khloe is to have a storyline with Tristan. Kylie is to have a storyline with Travis and whoever she's dating. Kendall is to have a storyline with guys that she's dating. And then, of course, Kim is to have a storyline with the guys that she's dating, or she continues to talk about guys that she, broke up with. But yeah, there was just a recent picture in regards to Courtney and Travis, and they looked so happy together. So there's that. Okay, so if y'all did not see the show Love is Blind, I reviewed it. So it's basically saying Clay is dating Selena Powell. And we were wondering if he was really in love with the woman he was on the show with. We were wondering. It's like he just doesn't seem like he's into. It just didn't seem like they had scenes outside of a restaurant. They didn't have a lot of scenes them living in a place together. Their scenes were interesting. He just seemed so disconnected, like he didn't want to be there. And then, of course, he said no at the altar. So now he's with Selena Powell, which everybody's probably going to be like, yeah, we could tell he wasn't interested in that beautiful African American woman. Could have been the lashes, could have been the hair. We don't know. But let's see how long this lasts. If you did not watch Love is Blind last season, go check it out. It's a straight up Kiki. Those personalities were all over the place. And there were certain people I would have to fast forward. I could not. I couldn't listen to them. I couldn't. And I think certain people for Love is Blind, they keep them around for media clicks and views. So let's see how long this plays out, because you've realized sometimes with Love is Blind, they do different stuff. They go on different shows. Maybe she's thinking, Selena Powell's thinking, okay, he may be able to get me on different shows and maybe dating shows. And if they ask him back next year, will he be on the panel and maybe I can sit next to him, being with him? So who knows why they're together. Let's talk about this situation. It's kind of sad. Romeo revealed that he was in an accident and he suffered a spinal and neck injury. So our prayers go out to Romeo. Very respectful. He loves his family. He loves his new family and his two children. He seems to be in love with his new girlfriend. So my prayers to go out to him. Everybody just be careful driving. Watch the person in front of you, behind you, near you. Sometimes you can't avoid what's going to happen, but I'm hoping that all is going to be well. He has a speedy recovery. He has no long-term signs of issues later down the line. He's a young guy. um I'm hoping that all will be well. He'll be able to continue to work, provide for his family, and do well. This is kind of a sad story, but I had to go ahead and do it. But another sad story we're going to talk about. So, well wishes to Romeo. We're going to talk Wendy Williams. It's sad that she is in a facility. It's sad that they're stating that they've sold her penthouse. Wendy Williams Guardian sells her New York penthouse for 3.7 million after being, and they're basically saying she's incapacitated. And it was the condo sold for less than 80 822K less than what she paid. And I would agree with a lot of people. Sometimes when you watch those shows, there's a certain amount they won't go under. So I would like to know who bought her penthouse and how is it that they got such a great deal? Sometimes you'll see that um, a house will go less than 5,000, 10,000. Sometimes they'll even ask them to knock off 20,000. But for it to be so less than what she paid, and who got that house? But well wishes to Wendy. Kevin spoke out about 2 weeks ago. He's saying a lot of people don't know what's going on. The blogs are talking about him. The blogs are talking about, him cheating. And he's saying there's a lot of situations we don't know. He tried to call out Black China. Black China was just trying to be a good friend. No man wants to see his ex-wife struggling. And it's just a sad thing that a lot of famous people aren't speaking up on her behalf. It doesn't even seem like any of them are saying, yes, I visited her. Yes, I spent time with her. Yes, I took her lunch. Whenever you have a friend or family member that's ill, a lot of family member or friends take shifts going to see them. So it's just sad that we don't hear a lot of people talking about that they visit her. And I think if there is health concerns, a person can deteriorate even faster if people aren't there loving and supporting them. But I would really like to know who got this home. And I mean, it's sad that, she will never return to her home. And it showed on the show too that they had cleared out her penthouse. So it's sad that Wendy's in this situation. It's sad that she's had health concerns. It's sad that she went through the divorce. It's sad that it doesn't seem like her family, she was able to call the family, but it doesn't seem like the family was able to visit her. It's sad. A lot of famous people are looking at guardianship in a different light. They're looking at making sure they have all their assets, their housing. They're trying to look at trying to have their whole life in order because they're looking at what Wendy went through. Nobody should have to go through this. Nobody. Nobody. But well wishes to Wendy. This was my last story. I just wanted to come back. My last video was Friday. So I kind of took some time off, Mother's Day weekend. But well wishes to everyone. Prayers go out to Wendy, her family, because they were stating that she can only call and they haven't been able to visit. I've never even heard of that. Your family can't visit you? So well wishes. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the channel. Don't forget to like, to comment, and subscribe. And everyone, have a great day. Goodbye.